We spend so much time managing our finances, our businesses, our investments. But what about the one asset that makes everything else possible? I'm talking about our health. Today, we're going to look at a really interesting idea that takes the same serious, strategic approach of a financial family office and applies it to your personal well-being. So let's just get right into it. Does dealing with healthcare ever feel like you're just wandering through a maze? You're juggling appointments with different specialists, you're trying to get your records sent from one place to another, and you have to tell your story over and over and over again. It's a huge frustration for so many of us, and it really makes you question the system we depend on. And this quote right here, it just completely flips the script. We're talking about moving away from only dealing with sickness when it shows up. The big idea is to strategically manage your health as the core asset that fuels everything else in your life. It's a huge shift from being reactive to being truly, truly proactive. All right, so here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll look at the problem, that fragmented system. Then we'll dive into this idea of health as an asset. After that, we'll meet the dedicated team behind this model, see exactly how they deliver care through 5 key pillars, and finally, we'll see how it all leads from chaos to clarity. Okay, first up, let's really nail down the challenge that this new model is trying to solve, that fragmented, confusing health system that I think we all know a little too well. And this slide just lays it all out perfectly, doesn't it? On the left, you've got that tangled mess. That's what healthcare feels like for so many people. It's scattered, it's complicated, and it's always playing catch-up. But look at the right side. That's the alternative, a single, clear path. It's about having one person to call, a real strategy to prevent problems, and just seamless management. It's really the difference between being lost in that maze and finally having a map. So how do we get from the maze to the map? Well, it all starts with changing how we think about our health. Let's get into that in section 2, this new approach of treating health as your number one asset. And that brings us to this big idea, the health family office. Just think about what a financial family office does, right? It brings everything together, it audits, it simplifies managing wealth. Well, this model applies that exact same thinking to your family's health. You get a single, dedicated partner to handle everything, from the small daily stuff to the big long-term picture. But here's the thing, this isn't some new app or a faceless platform. A really important takeaway here is that at the very center of this whole model is a real, dedicated human team. So let's meet them in section 3, the Viscara Care Triad. So the idea is you're not just a case number, you actually get a dedicated team. And this care triad is made up of 3 very specific roles that all work together for you: the nurse consigliere, the private family doctor, and the aesthetic curator. Let's break down exactly what each of them does. Okay, first up is the nurse consigliere. Think of this person as your personal quarterback, your single point of contact for absolutely everything. They handle all the logistics, they're your advocate in the system, and they coordinate every single detail. They're the one who takes that healthcare maze and turns it into a simple, straight line for you. Next in the triad is the private family doctor, but this is a completely different way of thinking about that role. They're not just someone you call when you're sick. Instead, they become your personal clinical strategist. Their entire job is to focus on preventative care, to map out your long-term health, and make proactive decisions with you. And finally, rounding out this amazing team is the aesthetic curator. Now, this is a super specialized role that goes way beyond just managing disease. This is all about optimizing for vitality and well-being. They provide expert guidance on positive aging, making sure your health strategy isn't just about surviving, it's about absolutely thriving. So, we've met the who. Now let's look at the how. How does this care triad actually make all this happen? Well, the answer is in section 4, the 5 pillars of care. The foundation of everything is this first pillar, daily care. This is basically your 24/7 mission control. Imagine having a direct medical line where you get immediate physician-led answers anytime something comes up for you or your family. It means having an expert on standby always. Pillar 2 is for when things get serious. It's called surgical navigation. So instead of you having to deal with the overwhelming logistics of a hospital stay, the team handles all of it for you. The key benefit here is that you're being advocated for, not just treated. They navigate the entire system for you right when you need it the most. Pillar 3 is where that aesthetic curator really shines. This is all about getting personalized expert advice on vitality and positive aging. It's a proactive plan to optimize not just how long you live, but how well you live. Pillar 4 is all about the long game, strategic longevity. This is where your entire medical history gets centralized and organized. The whole point is to turn all those scattered files and random records into a single, secure, and genuinely useful asset. This is what allows for truly smart long-term health planning. And the final pillar, this one is all about peace of mind. Health asset protection means the team takes care of the tough stuff, the administration, the insurance claims, all that paperwork. They remove that burden completely so you can just focus on what really matters, your health. So, what happens when you put it all together? You've got this dedicated care triad working for you across these 5 comprehensive pillars. What you get is a total transformation of what it means to manage your health. You go on a journey from chaos to clarity. And this is that transformation right here. That confusing, fragmented system, it becomes a single, unified ecosystem. Waiting to get sick is replaced by a proactive strategy. All those logistical headaches just disappear, and you're left with simplicity. And the bottom line? Your health is finally managed with the care and attention it deserves as your most valuable asset. Now, to provide this incredible level of personal service, the model has to have a limited membership. And the focus here really isn't on being exclusive. It's about guaranteeing quality and availability. It's the only way to make sure that the care triad can stay truly dedicated and instantly responsive to every single client they serve. Which really leaves us with this one last big question. We've just walked through a model that applies serious, long-term, strategic thinking to our well-being. So it kind of makes you stop and think about your own approach. In a world that's getting more complex by the day, how are you protecting your most valuable asset?